Let's start off by reflecting on Man City's opening two matches at the FIFA Club World Cup. City kick-started their campaign in Group G with a routine 2-0 win over Wydad AC in the Moroccan outfit, and then they thrashed UAE outfit Al-Ain 6-0 on Monday morning. City have now qualified for the last 16 with a game to spare. So, what have you made, Stephen, of City's performances overall in these first two games and Guardiola's approach to the tournament? And are there any players in particular that have stood out for you so far?
It's been fun. Like I know it's not preseason technically, but it semi is, because the players have had a bit of time off and so on. So I always approach the games like this, and it feels more like preseason because it's a random opposition in America at early hours in the morning. It just has that very preseason feel. I always approach them in a sort of win-win mentality. Whereas if a player looks a bit rusty, they've had a bit of time off, so it sort of doesn't matter. There's a billion reasons why a new signing or a player could not be at their best, and it'd be very fair because it's just life. Whereas on the other side, if you get a positive, well, you can take, maybe that guys come back in a little bit more, a good good headspace, or they're a bit motivated or whatever, or they're keen to make an impression. So I think largely you can sort of within reason ignore the negatives and just focus on the positives. So that's how I sort of approach games in pre-season. I know this is the Club World Cup, so it's not technically that, but the fact that Guardiola made 10 changes between the two games suggests that he's treating it as a chance to get his squad, ready for the tougher games in this tournament and the forthcoming season as well. Bearing all that in mind, I've enjoyed it. Look, City have had three new signings, obviously, the Ryans in Cherki and Ait-Nouri, and of course Tijjani and Reijnders, and we're also trying to see the comeback of people who've been out for a long time, like Rodri and Oscar Bob. And there's been positive steps towards all those. In particular, in the early hours of this morning, as we're talking, we saw Rayan Cherki make a wonderful cameo off the bench. Mesmeric. I mean, once again, it's just Al-Ain. They're not exactly world beaters. They struggle. I don't know what tier they struggle in English football, but either way, he was immense. He was wonderfully charismatic with his performance, so much technicality, great goal, great skill, created a load of chances despite being on the pitch for a quarter of an hour. Ait-Nouri as well just looked like everything City had been missing on that side for an awful long time. And in the game prior to that against Wydad, Tijjani Reijnders, Guardiola was infusing about him after the game. You could see he's the exact kind of player that Guardiola's going to love. A truly smart but also physical technician. We signed Nunes because he was good at carrying the ball and so on in midfield, and it's not quite happening centrally because Guardiola himself said he doesn't seem to be smart enough there, which isn't a dig at his encyclopedic knowledge. It's more how he uses the ball in the middle of the pitch. Reinders has a bit of that physicality that he's got, but with Gundogan's smarts. Potentially, it seems very, very encouraging. And then, of course, yeah, we've seen Rodri and Bob and so on. So far, it's been really enjoyable. I've enjoyed the positive signs, and hopefully, there's more to come.
Yeah, I think it's great that we've seen, maybe not just a couple of players, but quite a few players actually have made such a positive impact so early on in this tournament. So that's, signs of encouragement there, aren't they, going into the tournament and the start of next season?
Yeah, absolutely. We use that many players and that many get a chance to stand out. Of course, some will have to be, sold because the squad's just too big. And even last night, there's some players didn't really get substantial minutes. But yeah, the signs are really positive. You could easily build 11 now from the two games that played well at both across those two games. For the Juventus match. So I'm expecting to see the competition for places to be pretty fierce. And look, even the rumored departing Gundogan, like he's been fantastic. I know he's once again the level's nowhere near his standards, but Gundogan is could easily have his eye on the potential move to Galatasaray, but he's been fantastic and he's been leading the team with so much composure. And then we've had a whole bunch of centre backs playing; they've all been good. Different options at full back, they've all been good. The forward line's changed each time; it's all been good. So yeah, there's lots of competition for places, and the profile looks very different this year with the team as well. Lots of new players around, like Echeverri scoring a free kick last night, for example, and Oscar Bob back in the side and scoring as well. All things that are much needed to give the team a bit of a shot in the arm.